Unbelievable. Imagine a scenario never before seen in NATO history. Canada, a founding partner of the F-35 program, suddenly announces it is canceling its remaining order of 72 F-35 fighter jets, not delaying, not reducing, canceling, and instead, Ottawa declares it will acquire 88 Gripen E fighters from Sweden. This isn't leaked to the press. It isn't a rumor spreading on defense forums. It's an official decision. Washington freezes. Pentagon conference rooms fall silent. Lockheed Martin loses one of the largest defense contracts in its history. And across the world, analysts ask the same question. What just happened? This isn't a prediction. It's not a claim about the future. This is a hypothetical, a strategic thought exercise. But according to many defense experts, while unlikely, it isn't impossible. And if it ever happened, the consequences would extend far beyond Canada's borders. To understand why this scenario matters, we need to look at where things stand today. In 2023, after more than a decade of political debate, delays, and public controversy, Canada officially signed a contract to purchase 88 F-35A fighter jets. The deal was valued at up to 19 billion Canadian dollars. The first 16 aircraft are scheduled for delivery in early 2026. For many observers, this marked the end of the longest procurement debate in Canadian defense history. But the story didn't end there. Since Donald Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, US-Canada relations have grown noticeably tense. Trade disputes resurfaced, tariff threats returned to the table, pressure linked to NORAD and defense spending intensified. And behind closed doors, Ottawa began quietly reassessing its long-term dependence on Washington. Defense analysts started asking a question that once seemed untouchable. Should Canada continue with the remaining 72 F-35s? At the exact same moment, Saab, Sweden's aerospace giant, made an offer that changed the conversation completely. Not just aircraft, not just contracts, but an entire defense ecosystem. According to public industry reports, Saab proposed full assembly of the Gripen E inside Canada. Not importing finished jets, but building them on Canadian soil. Along with that came deep technology transfer, access to software architecture, and a commitment to 100% industrial offsets. In simple terms, every dollar spent would return to Canada's economy. Our hypothetical scenario begins here. Imagine it's 2026. The Canadian Defense Minister steps up to the podium and announces, "We have decided to terminate the contract for the remaining 72 F-35 aircraft in transition to the Gripen E platform." The first reaction wouldn't come from the media. It would come from Washington. Canada isn't just another F-35 customer. It has been a partner in the program since 1997, investing over $600 million in research and development. Canadian companies manufacture components used in thousands of F-35s around the world. If Canada pulls out, it isn't just losing an order. It's a breakdown of political trust. Defense analysts believe this decision would send a powerful signal. Even America's closest allies can say no to Washington's flagship fighter jet. And that opens a much bigger question. If Canada can walk away, will others follow? Countries like Poland, Spain, or future NATO buyers may begin quietly reconsidering their own commitments. Publicly, the White House might respond with diplomatic language. We respect Canada's sovereign decision. But behind the scenes, pressure would be immediate. The Pentagon could raise concerns about interoperability. Intelligence sharing might come under review. Lockheed Martin could reconsider Canadian participation in F-35 supply chains, an economic impact worth billions. And global media would focus on one question. How did Sweden beat the United States? So what exactly did Saab offer that could justify such a dramatic shift? According to defense industry analysis, Saab's proposal goes far beyond aircraft performance. At the center of the deal is complete production capability inside Canada. Analysts estimate a Gripen assembly line could generate between 9,000 and 12,000. Direct to jobs, aerospace engineers, avionics specialists, software developers, and advanced manufacturing workers. These aren't short-term construction roles. This is a long-term industrial ecosystem. Canada wouldn't just be buying jets. It would own the ability to produce them. But the real difference lies in technology access. With the F-35, every software modification and system upgrade requires approval from the US government and Lockheed Martin. Source code access remains tightly controlled. Gripen operates differently. Reports suggest Canada would gain access to core software systems. That means integrating Canadian-made weapons, modifying electronic warfare suites, and adapting systems for Arctic operations without asking Washington for permission. Analysts describe this as the opposite of technological dependence. While the F-35 relies on constant connectivity to the US-controlled Alice and Odin systems, Gripen is designed to operate independently. But there is one red line Ottawa cannot ignore. NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, has defined Canada's security posture since 1958. Any fighter jet Canada operates must integrate seamlessly into US-led early warning systems, data links, and command networks. According to defense experts, technically, yes, Gripen can do this. Politically, however, the consequences would be unprecedented. Canada succeeds NORAD. Itself could evolve into a multinational technological framework where European systems, North American infrastructure, and NATO standards coexist. Some analysts believe this diversification could actually strengthen NORAD's resilience. Operationally, Gripen also changes the game. Public defense reports estimate the F-35A cost between $35,000 and $47,000 per flight hour. Gripen E is estimated around $8,000. That difference determines pilot training, Arctic patrol frequency, and readiness. Gripen's dispersed operations philosophy, highways, frozen runways, minimal ground crews, fits Canada's geography perfectly. Across NATO, the shockwaves would be immediate. Sweden's position would rise dramatically. Countries still evaluating fighter jets might push back harder against U.S. dominance. The F-35's monopoly could weaken. Inside Canada, the impact would be transformative. Universities, tech startups, AI research, cybersecurity, avionics, all pulled into a new defense ecosystem. Canada could become the Gripen hub of the Western Hemisphere. But every decision has consequences. Lockheed Martin would lose billions. Washington would face difficult questions about control versus partnership. And the world would be watching closely. This isn't just about aircraft. It's about independence versus dependence. About choosing between protection and autonomy. No option is perfect. Only different trade-offs. And that is why this hypothetical matters. Once again, this scenario is purely analytical. As of early 2026, Canada remains committed to the F-35 program. But the debate itself reveals something deeper about the future of global defense.